All right, so good morning, everyone. Jose J. Garcia, real estate investor, coach, and mentor here. So meet your speaker. Week number 3. We talked about this. We have a live shadow event. The shadow event is a 2-day event where you get to come out with me and our speakers here, connect, network, and learn. Be educated on mobile home investing, but not just mobile home investing. We got many other topics, and as you'll hear here in a few minutes, Brian, which will bring him in, he's going to talk about the land trust corporations and a lot of things you need to know. Under Brian, we got Bill, who is awesome to stop by here with us again. He was speaker number 1 a couple weeks ago. This is every Saturday at 10 a.m. We have a check-in call where we talk about investments, education, anything we have coming up. We did a virtual about 3-4 weeks ago where it was meet your speaker. A lot of intriguement, a lot of emails, a lot of you, I see you on here. So make sure, yes, you get your questions ready. I know y'all been asking about Bill, you've been asking about Brian. Here is the time for you to get to meet them that much more. These are the guys that are going to be at the events, okay? The 2-day event where we're going to be talking about everything investing, mobile home related. But with that being said, Brian, sir, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, everybody. Doing good. Got me in the vehicle today.
Yes, and he still made it on time. So when you think about excuses, I can't get to this, Brian is a good example of he's there when he said he was going to be there. Love it. Brian, so tell people here joining us about you and jump into it. What you're going to be covering at the event come October 1st.
Sure, we got a lot of good information, so I'm not going to give you all the fun stuff first. First off, I want to apologize for the background. My dog may poke his head up every once in a while. I'm driving from Chattanooga off Alabama, Decatur, Alabama, then possibly up into Nashville, then off to Knoxville. And then possibly to Virginia, all about one day, traveling for 4 different mobile home parks. But one of the most important things is when you take ownership of these properties is to protect your name and your own assets. So what we're going to talk about is really fun stuff. It sounds kind of boring when you talk about it. Oh, land trusts, corporations, limited partnerships. But I'm going to make it exciting. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you little comparisons between the two. You all know about, first off, you never take a property in your own personal name, right? That's the biggest mistake a lot of new investors do. I own it, it's in my name. Well, yeah, now it's in your name and you're on the path of anybody coming to want to sue you. Could be a contractor, could be somebody who fell on your property, it could be a prior relationship, anybody. All your stuff is now exposed. So that's what one of the beauties is going to be of is asset protection. Not tax avoidance, asset protection. And so asset protection is nothing more than each item, whether it's a single family home or a mobile home park or an apartment complex or a mobile home, which is like a car, in title, why not put it in the name of a land trust that nobody knows who owns it? So as opposed to being all, ego is, I own it. I own that property. I own that mobile home. You may want to go into a little bit more of a protection mode, especially as we're getting a little pullback in the economy. We're going to talk about putting into a land trust. You can put a car into a property trust. Ooh, you can put a mobile home into a property trust. I'll answer all the questions when we have our get together down there. A little bit about my background. I was a mortgage broker for over 20 years in Orlando. Before that, I was an Army officer. I was a medevac pilot, Desert Storm. That's how I'm able to multitask, looking at the camera, driving, taking care of my dog, all that fun kind of stuff. So I'll give you just a little teaser. Is there a tax identification number required on a corporation? You bet there is. You got to pay taxes on it, right? Is there a tax identification number required on a land trust? No. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on this phone call, but just want to give you some great ideas. So when you go to buy a property, you put it in your own personal name. You can put it in a corporation, limited partnership, LLC, whatever you want to do, C Corp, S Corp, or a land trust. And I'm going to tell you why I think the land trust is probably your best vehicle. It also has to do with financing options. What if you decide to buy the mobile home and live in it and homestead it? Ooh, all these good questions. So load your questions up. When you come and see me in Atlanta with the rest of the other speakers, we're going to have plenty of time to sit and talk outside of the presentation and said, I'll answer all your questions. And if I don't know the answer, I'm going to hopefully guide you to the proper people who do know the answers. And as always, I'm not an attorney. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a broker. And I'm not asking for any money. I'm not trying to sell anything. I just want to help give you some creative ideas on how to hold ownership to the property that you buy, whether it's again, a mobile home or a house or anything like that. Is that fair? And I'm sure the questions are now already flying across your screen, Jay. What do you think?
No, you're good. And I got a couple questions just based on what you're talking about. A lot of the questions that come to me, and like Brian mentioned, yes, we are not attorneys. We cannot give you legal advice. Any and all information shared here is for educational purposes only. Y'all have heard that somewhere or another, right? So,
yeah, right.
So Brian, one of the questions is, first of all, should I put a mobile home title under my name? And I repeat the same phrase I just did, but it's always no, you should not. You know, you obviously seek legal advice, but it should always be in an entity of some sort. Now, the question that comes after that is, how many mobile home titles or how many mobile homes should I put under one LLC per se? What is typically your response to that?
It depends what your risk threshold is. So personally, each individual property is under a separate entity name. Oh, but that's a lot to keep track of. Well, hold on. What's your risk threshold? I mean, I don't know if you're buying 10 mobile homes, if you're buying one mobile home, if you're buying two, you know, two's fair. But if, I mean, you know, God forbid if something happens, if a husband or a wife or a spouse or somebody gets into a car accident, what's the first thing you do? The person who is injured goes to an attorney. What's the first thing that attorney does? The attorney goes into public records to find out what you own. And then they're going to come after it. So personally, I would say one individual entity per asset. Now, if I buy a mobile home park, I put that under one individual entity, one land trust or one LLC. And that's my answer. But if I own individual homes inside that park, how would I title that? Have I put them in my own personal name? Yes, I have. If for the sake of speed, and it was confusing to the other person, and again, I'll go into a whole lot more detail of that in the presentation. But if you're flipping it, you've already got a buyer standing right by, I'm okay with having your name temporarily on title. In an ideal world, I would suggest you put it into a corporation, LLC, trust, so you keep your name off of that path in the title or on public records. Long answer to a short question.
No, you're good. Yes. And so now you said I put them in my name for faster transactions. I've had to do that. There's sometimes when a seller, they're more confused, and confused minds don't buy, confused minds definitely don't sell. So that being said, let's put it in my name. I'll kind of worry about it later, meaning I'll go ahead and transfer. And that's very doable, right? You can't transfer between entities and owners.
Correct.
Okay. Now, LLCs between partners. That's another one. Well, I want to partner up with somebody. I think many times, you know, unless you absolutely have to do it, I always say, you know, do it by yourself. But when you do grow bigger into business, obviously you're going to need JV partners, partnerships, et cetera, whatever it may be. Do you recommend that people get in LLCs or some type of entities together when they're doing some type of joint ventures per se?
I'm going to certainly repeat the disclosure that I'm not an attorney and consult legal advice before you do something like this. Okay, your financial planner, financial advisor. But as a mortgage broker, I saw a lot of these different transactions in groups. Again, I was a mortgage broker for 20 years in Orlando, Florida. So I'm going to say this with a tongue in cheek. Partnerships are challenging, and I've been in good partnerships and I've been in bad partnerships. But the majority of partnerships, just like marriages, I don't want to say they tend to fail, but personalities tend to change. But good friends are together, right? But then one friend has more creative ideas than the other. Or one person wants to get on his hands and knees and fix the plumbing pipes, and the other person doesn't want to do anything, which is a similar relationship I'm in right now. And we still have to split profits 50-50. I do all the work, he does nothing. Now, good on his part, bad on my part. Do I just not do the work? No, then you've got a deteriorating asset. So how do we go back? LLC's got members and managing members. It's okay to have members, but now you've got full ownership, public records, you've got tax returns, everything in the LLC and the corporation. However, in a property trust or a land trust, you can simply exchange beneficial interest. behind the scenes on a legal document that's not recorded in public records. Ooh, that may be a simple agreement or a simple buyout. Hey, Jay, you and I are partners. I want to buy your position out. What do you want? I want $5,000 to buy my position out. Okay, Jay, here's a check from my company to you in your name. I simply resign your position as beneficiary, reassign it to me, and now I have all beneficial interest. Sounds like a lot. It's actually much simpler than I just threw it at you really quick. But again, the idea is LLCs, members, now you're in a marriage. Land trusts, property trusts, you can transfer a lot of the ownership in that trust. Why? Because a property trust and a land trust are non-recordable documents. Ooh, that'll make you think about it. Non-recordable documents. Who has a copy? I have a copy, you have a copy. So LLC, fantastic vehicle. C Corp, S Corp, fantastic vehicles. There's just certain strengths and weaknesses to each one of those entities and how to use them. And I think Bill, who's going to be here shortly, has got some great availability onto courses and stuff like that on how to learn more about those entity classes. So there's a little plug for you, Bill.
Absolutely. No, and it would take a lot more than 5,000 to buy me out, by the way, but that's an example made for sure. So yeah, it can be done. It is like a marriage. And I think that's the best description you can say is when you partner up with somebody, because people are quick to, hey, let's joint venture. Hey, and like you said, it starts up all fair and well. Everybody likes everybody, but within a few months, a few little troubles, I've always said, who can take the most drama in a sense out of it? Because that's usually the person that immediately I want out per se. Or one person's doing more of the work, the other person's laying, you got different things like that. So definitely think it thorough. If you're going to invest, if you're going to partner up with somebody, number one, have the right entities in place, but make sure that you know who it is that you want to invest in moving forward. Is it somebody I can see 5, 10 years or further down the line? Brian, on the biggest mistake, and I know we're climbing through time here pretty quick. That's the beautiful stuff. And for those of you tuning in, this is the stuff you're going to learn at the event. Brian, he has more than enough stuff. He can talk to you for hours on here. He's going to be talking about this October 1st, so make sure you join us on that. But Brian, one of the biggest mistakes that people make getting into any business, first let's point it out that way, and getting an LLC or corporation. What would you say one of those is?
Man, you're putting me on the spot. I didn't even have any of these questions in front of me. I'd say we covered two of the major ones. Number one is putting it in your own personal name. Number two is partnerships. Be very, very careful. It's even rougher if you're getting in a partnership with a husband or a wife. It's more difficult if you're getting partnerships with your best friends, because what if your best friend gets a divorce? Then the wife wants to come after the asset. Due diligence. When you look at a property, I refer across the board: apartment complex, mobile home park, mobile home, single family residence, whatever you're looking at, due diligence. Listen to people like Jay. He's the one that's going to give you this valuable information as to what to look for when you step on that property, what you're looking for on the exterior, what you're looking for on the interior. Due diligence is your item number 3. So taking it in your own personal name, mistake number 1. Partnerships, mistake number 2. Due diligence, number 3, right? Because you're thinking about these things before you even make your acquisition. Is that a fair answer?
Absolutely. No, I love it for sure. So good stuff on that. Brian, one of the things I tell people, and again, we're not attorneys, you're going to hear us repeat this over and over because we're talking about a very legal matter here. But should I get an LLC? Should I get a corp before I start investing? I tell people, look, for my advice is get you one mobile home deal. If you're talking about investing in mobile homes, mobile home parks, that's a little different. Get you one mobile home, rehab it, fix it up, see how it works out for you. If it's something you can say, I can move on forward, and yeah, this is investments for me to come, then by all means, get the legality side up and running at that point. Would you suggest the same, or get everything paper-wise, legality up front before you start investing?
Yeah, spot on, Jay. Exactly what you just said. In other words, everybody gets into the idea they're going to be very wealthy individuals with mobile home parks or mobile homes, and they want to create the entities ahead of time. I think that's a mistake, because I think you got your expense of setting it up, you got your expense of recording it, you got your expensive tax returns. Why do that if you get into it? Maybe you don't like doing this stuff. Maybe you don't like mobile homes. Maybe you don't like single family. Maybe you don't like real estate at all. then you're stepping out, you just got all your expenses put forward. So if you put your name on a contract and you're ready to go, you can create your entity at that point. Because inside your entity, let's say an LLC, for example, you may have an operating agreement or you may have your articles of organization. Those may change. And why would you want to pay an attorney to make those changes when you haven't even found the asset yet? Absolutely. So I agree with what you just said, Jay. Absolutely. And then I've got, with Jay's permission, I'm going to give you a website where you can actually create your own corporation. And then I'll give you some ideas on which states are your best ones to create them if you choose to go that direction. Okay. And I'll tell you why as well. Disclosure of partners. Everything is anonymity because we want to stay out of the path of a lawsuit. The best way to stay out of the path of a lawsuit is to operate honorably and ethically in what you do. You do what you say what you do. You don't, if you're going to get in for tax avoidance, don't even talk to me. If you're going to get into trying to do something illegal and hide assets, talk to me. I'm talking about protecting yourself as an honorable, ethical person. Okay?
Absolutely.
Can't help it. That's that military officer mentality in me. So yeah.
No, it's good. Keep it legal. Keep it legal, bottom line. So, and to add to that response, there is also, so the first topic that we cover is branding, marketing, and advertisement. And that would go hand in hand with what Brian and I are saying is instead of setting up your LLCs, your corporations, structuring all your business, making it beautiful, you will be successful. If you learn from us and you do what we tell you to do, you will. But get the deals first. If you don't have deals, you don't have a business, forget about everything else around it. Get your first deal to that. Bill Omi, he's sitting here joining us. He's speaker number 1 from the topics here. Meet your speaker. Anything you'd like to add to what me and Brian are covering?
I'm looking forward. I'm listening to this. A lot of this I didn't know, so I'm like, okay, I gotta get down here and talk to Brian when we have our events. and I'm really impressed. He's doing this while he's driving. I'm sort of scared for him, but I'm sort of impressed also.
I got 3 eyes.
Multitasking at its finest, but what impresses me the most is, the more successful people are, the more on time and on point they are. And that proves it here. Some people here that said they were going to join me this Saturday, I'm looking for y'all. I don't see you here. So maybe you'll catch the replay, but part of becoming successful is showing up. You got to show up. You got to take action. So that being said, as we're about 20 minutes into this, Brian, anything else you'd like to add? I know there's going to be a lot of questions following up with this. A lot of people have already asked, can I connect with Brian? Brian is a very busy individual. You see, we're not teachers here. We're investors. We're real active. Every speaker that you see on here, we're actually actively investing, which makes us coaches. Brian is traveling from one city to the next and then back. I don't know how he does it half the time. We're both just as busy, but he's showing it. He's displaying, and that's what investors do. What else will you cover at the event that I'm sure some people have questions for?
It's going to cover a broad spectrum. Even this morning, you talked about commitment. When somebody says they're going to show up, I think that everybody out there, just meeting Jay and signing up for his course is one of the keys to success for yourselves. Because what you're doing is you're saying, I'm committing and I know that I need education to grow. And then as you do that, why not learn it from people who've been in the trenches? I can tell you all the goods, the bads, and the uglies. Not all of them. I can tell you a lot of goods, bads, and uglies. And if you come and listen to the speakers, you're going to hear that. And always ask them, what's the worst thing that happened to you? Wow. We can sit here and tell you all the great things and how much money you can make, but I'll tell you some of the bad things that happen, that can happen. It's too much to talk about just here on the screen, but come join us in Atlanta. And Jay's got a great venue, and you got some great speakers there. You got Bill, and I think his name is Chris. Great people I'm looking forward to meeting as well. So I don't have anything else to add. Just I look forward to seeing you all and come up and write your questions down because you'll forget them by the time you come in there in October.
Yes, you will. Yes, for sure. Okay, great on that. So yes, let's talk about a couple things. And Bill, you can jump in at any time if you want to cover anything. Bill Omi, of course, he's going to be covering the cash flow. That's what he's known. So cash flow, a lot of stuff we covered. If you didn't catch that video call, be sure to go to our YouTube and follow our social media. There it is. So, and you can see the video on that. You can also see Trevor Evans, who was last week. And don't forget, next Saturday, we have the next speaker as well. So same time, same channel, we'll be here. So with that being said, let me talk about the event a little bit here. And Brian, you are driving, sir. If you have nothing else to add, let's go ahead and let you focus on driving at this time. But thank you for sure. So these shadow events. Thank you. Thank you. The shadow event is a 2-day event. It's going to be in October. It is going to be in Warner Robins, which is about 2 hours south of Atlanta. We are going to be day one where it's a ballroom classroom. It is all teaching. All the speakers will be there, 4 speakers. And we also have a mobile home insurance agent that's going to be joining us. We do have a surprise guest that's also going to be there speaking towards the end of the event. The event is a 1-day followed by a 2nd day. Second day is not mandatory, but I highly, highly encourage you to join it, as well as that's the day where we actually take you out in the field. We take you out and we show you how we invest in mobile homes, the things that we look for, how to rehab, how to buy material. We'll have contractors, handymen at the event, park managers, park owners, all the questions that you need answered on that. They're going to be there to answer you in person as well. You don't want to miss the event. We actually postponed it from what was supposed to be in end of June until October, and there's reasons behind it. We've added a lot more topics, one of them being bonded titles, how to get titles. That is huge. You know, as an entrepreneur, as you know, you have to be a problem solver. And one of the things that we run into a lot is I don't have a title. I'll sell you this mobile home, I'll give you this mobile home, but I don't have a title. That being said, is you're stuck between, is it a good deal, not a good deal, or can I even do anything legally? That is huge. And that's what we're coaching on now. And we follow all the process, all the steps to be able to coach you that much more effectively. And we will be discussing that at the event as well. So definitely join us. Check out jgarciamhlive.com. You can go to our website, garciamhu.com, to sign up or send us an email. This recording will, like I said, will be posted on all of our social media. You can also drop a comment, send us a DM. Anyway, look, we're not hard to find. We're easy to contact. So that being said, we got one more event I want to talk about real quick. So the background that you see around me, that's where I've been spending a lot of my time, and that's Naples, Florida. Who doesn't love Florida, right? We have an event where we're going to start networking. We're going to start connecting. Remember, your network equals your net worth. Who you connect, who you surround yourself around is who you will become. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. That's the best way to put. August 6th. August 6th is a Saturday. Now, that's a 1-day, 4-hour event. There is no charge at this time. Anybody that wants to join me, especially if you're locally down in Naples, Fort Myers area, no excuse. Come and join me. We will share the exact address probably about a week from August 6th. Though. Put it on your calendars, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to be networking. There's a lot of investors coming, realtors, brokers. You can see our event ad on our latest social media post. We'll go live as well, so we may even have some of these speakers join us. We'll see on that, but we will be virtually as well. If you want to join that, again, visit garciamhu.com. Anything else we want to add, Brian and Bill, before we go?
No, just appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to meeting you.
And guys, you got to understand, if we're in an inflationary environment, you've got to own assets. Got to get away from just having wages. People that just have wages or fixed income are going to get hammered. Mm-hmm. So start accumulating wealth rather than just chasing wages. You'll be much better off as you go along.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I want to thank all of you who joined me on social media here. There are some questions. We will be emailing you back, but we will see you next Saturday. Same time, same channel. Like I said, everybody have a great day. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Bill, for joining me.